You're on Red Hunt, where the smallest choices can lead to the biggest consequences, starting with this one. For context, my daughter is 8 years old and in second grade. The teacher's assistant, who is in her early 20s, just joined the class after spring break in March. I believe she is graduating college this spring. For Mother's Day, the students completed a project titled All About My Mom, which included information about their mother's jobs, favorite foods, and favorite colors. They invited parents to the classroom to showcase these projects. I am currently in graduate school to become a certified nurse midwife and women's health nurse practitioner. I have been a registered nurse working in labor and delivery for about 5 years. During my daughter's presentation, she stated, "My mom helps deliver babies, she's a midwife. Although I am not yet a midwife, that is beside the point." The teacher responded, "Do you mean a doctor, sweetie? We don't have midwives here," presumably referring to the United States. My daughter replied, "No, she was a nurse and now she delivers babies." The teacher then said, "Oh, so just a nurse then?" This upset my daughter and she began to cry in front of her entire class and the other parents. After calming my daughter down in the hallway and discussing that not everyone knows everything, even teachers, I approached the teacher. I explained, "Actually, I am almost a midwife. I am still in school, but there are definitely midwives in this country. I actually used one when I had my children." The teacher responded, "What, are you Amish?" I responded, "Well, I tried to explain to you, but I guess I can't explain ignorance away." This seemed to offend her and she began discussing her degree in education, claiming it was a real degree unlike mine. At that point, I decided to leave. Yesterday, I received a call from the school. They are threatening to remove my daughter from the school next year if I do not apologize, as it is a charter school. Should I have just let it be? Am I the antagonist for insulting her? I do not understand why she is telling children that their parents' careers are not real when it is easily verifiable through a simple internet search. Shaking my head, it's pretty wild that a teacher would embarrass an 8-year-old like that. I mean, teachers should really be correcting kids privately, not putting them on blast in front of the whole class. It's clear the teacher didn't handle it right, especially since midwives are a real thing in the US. Asking why she felt the need to humiliate a student could actually open up a good conversation. And documenting everything about midwives. That's smart too, it shows you're serious about this issue. If the teacher thinks her degree gives her the right to belittle others, that's a big red flag. Talking to the principal is a good move, but honestly, keep it casual, ask questions instead of making accusations. It's essential to clarify that teachers can make mistakes just like anyone else. Oh, and a formal complaint might be worth considering if things don't improve. Kids deserve a supportive environment, not one where they're made to feel small. Am I the jerk for not being willing to pick up my partner at 2 a.m.? My wife has monthly gatherings with her friends where they often drink excessively. She informed me on Saturday that they would be having one that night and asked if I would be willing to pick her up. I have done this in the past, but I felt it was necessary to set some boundaries. Her pickup times can range from 11:00 p.m. to well past 2:00 a.m., which is very difficult for me because I spend the entire night waiting and trying not to fall asleep until she decides to come home. I told her I would be willing to pick her up until midnight, but after that, she would need to either stay at her friend's house where she has permission to stay overnight or take a rideshare service home. She became upset about this, but later apologized for her behavior and agreed to the midnight compromise. However, she still insisted that I was in the wrong for not being willing to pick her up late at night. Her friends were telling her that I was being unreasonable, and my coworkers with whom I discussed the situation had mixed opinions. While I understand her concerns about taking a rideshare service home as a woman late at night, I believe my compromise was reasonable, especially since she could stay at a trusted friend's house if she felt too intoxicated to travel safely. If there were an emergency, I would still go to get her, and honestly, if she called me at 2:00 a.m., I would likely go get her even if it was not an emergency, although I would be somewhat reluctant. For some relevant background information, I wake up every morning at 4:30 a.m. for my job and try to go to bed at 8:30 p.m. Although I did not have work the next morning, I am particular about maintaining my sleep schedule and become anxious when it is disrupted. I learned about the gathering on the same day, so I woke up at my usual time that morning. 2 o'clock in the morning is extremely late for me, and driving at that hour can be dangerous. I cannot take a nap to prepare for this because I do not want to disrupt my sleep schedule, and I also know that I likely would not hear my phone ring if I fell asleep. Additionally, I try not to drink frequently due to a family history of alcoholism, and I had already consumed alcohol nearly every night the previous week during a work trip and attended these events with her over the past few months, which is why I could not simply accompany her. I can't even. You did the right thing. Honestly, it sounds like this would really mess up your sleep schedule, especially with your job. She just dropped this on you last minute, expecting you to be her ride just because she wants to drink. I mean, if she's worried about staying at her friend's place, she should really figure that out herself. It's not great for her health to binge drink like that, you know. Plus, there are plenty of other options for her. She could stay home with you, leave early with you, call an Uber, or even drive herself if she stays sober. It's kind of straight up wrong for her to expect you to make all the sacrifices. And if her friends think you're in the wrong, that says a lot about them. Good luck with that mess. Am I the jerk for not letting my sibling borrow my heels? My sister, who is 13 years old, and I, who am 21 years old, never borrow or lend each other our belongings. This situation began when she was younger. She would often break everything given to her, which led me to stop lending her my things. As she grew older, she adopted the mindset that she would not allow me to use anything of hers. I was fine with this arrangement until the wedding of my best friend's brother. I am very close to my best friend's family, and my mother is as well, so we were all invited to the after party. While I was washing the dishes, my sister was trying on clothes with my mother. She was in her tomboy phase and only had a few dresses and no formal shoes because she did not like them. At one point, my mother entered the kitchen and asked, "Can your sister borrow your heels?" My sister, who looked quite silly in 6-inch heels, followed my mother into the kitchen. I rarely wore those heels because they are not my favorite, but I responded, "No, they are mine. She never lets me borrow anything. Why would I give her my heels?" My mother continued to ask several times, and I gave her the same answer each time. Eventually, she became frustrated and yelled at me, saying, "You are always so selfish. You never give your sister anything. You are a disgrace. I did not raise you to be like this," along with other typical phrases that parents often use. I was still calmly washing the dishes when this outburst took me completely by surprise. I stood there frozen for a few seconds and eventually gave in, saying, "Okay. If it is such a tragedy, take them. I do not care anymore." My mother responded, "No. You can keep them. I am going to buy her new shoes." Then she stormed out of the house with my sister to buy shoes, and I had no idea where they went. They returned empty-handed because my sister did not like any of the shoes she tried on. She probably did not even like my heels, and my mother seemed to do everything just to create conflict. So, am I in the wrong for not wanting to share my heels with a 13-year-old who never shares? Or did my mother overreact? Yo, hear me out, forcing a 13-year-old to wear heels. That's just wrong. Seriously, let the kid wear sneakers. I mean, what are the chances a 19-year-old and a 13-year-old have the same shoe size? Not great, right? It just doesn't make sense, and honestly, it could lead to injuries. And if the 13-year-old is going through a tomboy phase, heels probably aren't her thing. It sounds like the mom is pushing her to wear them and getting all worked up when she doesn't. Learning to walk in heels takes practice, and starting with super high ones. That's just a recipe for disaster. Sharing clothes is cool, but shoes? That's a whole different story. It's not like everyone has the same taste or fits into each other's sizes. So overall, just let the kid be comfortable and wear what she wants. Am I the jerk for telling my partner to quit their rec baseball team if they don't tell their teammates about me? My husband, who is 50 years old, has played on an adult recreational baseball team organized through our city's recreation department. He enjoyed playing on the team last season and is planning to do so again this year. He gets along well with the other players, who are in their mid-20s to late 40s, and enjoys going out to bars and restaurants with them after games. I have been supportive of him having a hobby and meeting new people. Last year, my mother took our daughters, who are 9 years old and 7 years old, to a couple of his games while she was babysitting. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend due to work commitments. This year, I expressed my desire to bring our daughters and meet some of his teammates. However, he told me that I cannot do that because he has not disclosed to his teammates that he is gay. When I asked if they know he is married or has children, he mentioned that he has talked about having kids but has never said anything about having a spouse. I find this situation quite unreasonable because my husband and I have been together for 27 years, are married, and have 2 children. We live in a politically moderate suburb of a major liberal city in the year 2025, and I believe it is very unlikely someone would react negatively to this information. Even if they did, I do not understand why the opinions of these men matter to him. When I asked my husband about it, he expressed a desire to fit in with other guys, which he has never experienced due to being left out while growing up. We met while living in a predominantly gay neighborhood in a major city in the 1990s, where we had mostly gay friends. Even now, he works in the theater industry, which is often associated with the LGBTQ+ community. I find it disrespectful that he prioritizes his need to fit in with straight men over being honest about our marriage. This disagreement escalated into a major argument, during which I told him that if he does not tell his teammates about me and allow me to attend his games, I do not want him to play on the team again. He accused me of being controlling and stated that it is not my decision what he does with his free time or who he chooses to tell about his life. Am I the antagonist for telling him he cannot play on the team again if he does not come out about being married to me? Wow, it sounds like the partner has been hiding their relationship for a while, and honestly, that could really blow up in their face. I mean, the team might be cool with it, but they'll definitely feel some type of way when they find out, you know. If this were a straight relationship, people would be questioning whether the partner is ashamed or hiding something. It's just not fair to treat a same-sex relationship any differently. Plus, in the theater world, people probably already have a sense of his sexuality. The lack of communication here. Yeah, it just creates more problems. If he can't share his partner, it raises so many questions. Is he worried about how they'll react? Or is there something else going on? Either way, this secrecy isn't healthy. It's really time to be open and honest. Am I the jerk for asking my best friend to spend the night? I am a 16-year-old female, and my best friend is also a 16-year-old female. About 2 months ago, my mother and I picked up my best friend to attend an event. When she entered the car, I noticed that she smelled strongly of marijuana. My mother chose not to address this issue until after we dropped her off later that evening. After we returned home, my mother informed me that I was not allowed to visit my best friend's house for a while. This was not because my mother disapproves of smoking, but due to her past experiences with law enforcement. She had previously been pulled over while having marijuana in the car, which had led to her being taken to jail. I explained to my best friend that I was temporarily restricted from visiting her house until my mother made a decision. We eventually agreed that if my best friend came to my house at least once, I would be allowed to go back to her house. However, my best friend has only been to my house twice, while I have visited hers many times. I invited my best friend to spend the night at my house to help restore our friendship. However, she became upset and expressed that it was unreasonable for her to have to stay the night just for me to return to her house. My mother and her mother had previously joked about how much of a homebody she is, but I had offered her the option to arrive as late as 7 p.m. and leave by 8 a.m. to make it easier for her. She responded by questioning why I was so insistent on having her come over, mentioning that even her mother did not understand my desire for her to visit. I want to ensure that she feels comfortable, but it seems that she is okay with going out for other events but reluctant to come to my house. She later stated that she no longer wished to discuss the topic and has not brought it up since, even though she says she misses me. I sometimes feel that I put more effort into our friendship than she does. It is difficult for me to understand why she would not want to make this small effort for me, especially given the uncomfortable situations she has placed me in before. For real though, you're definitely not the bad guy here. You're just asking her to meet a fair condition, you know, to help rebuild trust after that awkward mess. I mean, it's totally fair to want some reciprocity in a friendship. If she got into your mom's car smelling like weed, it makes sense that your mom would be uncomfortable with you visiting her house. You've put in the effort to compromise, yet she isn't willing to do this small thing for you. It's honestly annoying when it feels like you care more about the friendship than she does. If she's not willing to come over to your place, that raises some red flags about how much she values your friendship. Sometimes it's best to reassess those friendships. You deserve friends who will support you and not put you in uncomfortable situations. Am I the jerk for not talking about my friend anymore? I met my friend Sandra about 4 years ago at work. We bonded over similar interests and have been through a lot together. Although we do not work together anymore, I still stay in contact with her. She moved about an hour away, coincidentally to the area where my boyfriend Lucas lives for school. I do not see her as much anymore because we are both busy with school and work, and I admit I spend a lot of my free time with Lucas. I miss Sandra and talk about her sometimes with Lucas. I am not sure if Lucas got the wrong idea because I mentioned that she is often late. Sandra has a more laid-back personality, and I tend to get anxious when I am not on time. To me, it is a small flaw, and I always have a good time with her regardless. However, Lucas often makes negative comments about her, saying she is not good and using unkind terms. He claims he is joking, but I wonder if there is something more behind his comments. This bothers me because Sandra is like my sister and has even helped me escape an abusive relationship. I have told Lucas to be nice to her, and I do not believe Sandra has ever done anything wrong, at least not in front of me. Sandra has always included Lucas in everything since we started dating a year ago. I share everything with her, and she has been there since my relationship with Lucas began. She invites him to join us when she asks me to go out and always inquires about how he is doing. She is overall a genuinely nice person. Whenever Lucas is mean, I stop him. He always backtracks when I express my upset feelings, saying he is just joking. However, he keeps doing it, and now I feel like I can barely even talk about Sandra. I feel as though I cannot share my happy moments with Lucas because of his negativity. Sandra is basically my sister, and I want her to be a part of my life. However, I also love Lucas. He is very sweet and takes care of me. Additionally, I would like to mention that Sandra does not know Lucas makes these comments. Whenever we hang out, he is nice to her, and she is kind to him in return. I do not want to create unnecessary drama by telling her. What should I do? I value both my relationship and my friendship. Hey, just be careful when you vent about people you really care about. I mean, it can totally backfire and make others dislike them too. If you want to keep your friendship strong, you should definitely be cautious about what you share. Now, your boyfriend might seem supportive, but if he keeps disrespecting your feelings, that's a red flag, honestly. Making jokes at your friend's expense. Yeah, that's not cool, especially when you've asked him to stop. It's kind of concerning if he focuses on that one negative thing you said while totally ignoring all the good stuff. That really says a lot about how he views your friendship. You deserve someone who respects both your feelings and your friends. Trust your instincts on this one. If it feels off, it probably is. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.